the month of May. Oh, darling, I can't stand it when you look at me that way. I feel the earth move under my feet. I feel the sky tumbling down.
Growing up in rural eastern North Carolina, I can remember vividly the final documented days of apartheid America. When we would venture to town, Farmville, all the people from the surrounding farms, villages, and bordering counties would gather to do some trading, buying or selling for necessities, to make life as bearable as possible. Most food essentials were raised on the farm. Store-bought goods were kept to a minimum. In addition to the limited commerce transaction, the more popular reason that has summoned these common folks to an informal assembly was the sharing of information and the socialization opportunity. From the youth to the elders, everyone looked forward to participation in the going to town ritual.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon.
On most occasions that I had experienced going to town with my parents, I was very optimistic that I would be given a dime to spend on candy. If things were really good, family disposable income at a high point, I could expect a quarter. During the 1950s, a quarter was a lot of money in the control of a youth. Some day laborers and farm workers were only earning between 50 and 80 cents per hour, $5 to $8 per day for a 10-hour workday. The purchasing power of a quarter would secure a durable toy and an abundance of candy. Going to town was an event that produced the occasion to interact with classmates, former classmates, and cousins. As sons and daughters of sharecroppers, most of our parents were slotted in this category. We lived a status only slightly above that of a transit migrant worker. If the sharecropper displeased the landowner or the overseer, the sharecropper had to move off the property, the tobacco farm. There was no signed contractual agreement. The white man's word was law. The black man, colored man during that era, had to comply without any due process. In the midst of an otherwise gleeful gathering of people from different counties and surrounding villages, going to town on a Saturday afternoon was a gleeful occasion. However, the absence of public accommodations, restrooms for colored folks, served as a stark reminder of the existing apartheid system. Another illustration of the segregationist institution, the picture show, the movie theater, had a colored-only entrance that led to the balcony section. White people were seated on the lower level. In spite of the separation of seating, all people paid equally for admittance. Another racist institution, Bonnie's Cafe, would demand an African-American colored person to enter a back alley and venture to a window at the rear of the restaurant to place an order for a hot dog. A colored person could not enter any door of Bonnie's Cafe unless they were workers. However, everybody paid the same price for any food item. Without exception, the cooks were all black.
It's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it. Something inside has died.
As previously stated, there were no public restrooms for the colors. The only attempt to offer some degree of civility appeared with the displacement of occasional water fountains in the tobacco warehouses or some other public facility. But these water dispensers were clearly marked white only and colored only. I had subconsciously accepted all other aspects of segregation without question, but I took those water fountain designations personally. White only and colored only signs above water fountains, which were connected to the same source, somehow triggered an internal rage within me that truly upset the balance of my emotions. I could not articulate this inner experience burning within my soul, nor could I identify the origin of this ingrained turbulence rumbling through my spirit. Perhaps, deep within the recesses of my subconscious youthfulness, I had reasoned that an individual may own a restaurant or possess a movie projector apparatus, but no one held the rights to dispense God's water by private, arbitrary decision. The designation of drinking water by ethnic codification, race, skin color, had become my first personal objection by association with rules and laws set by white men to control the racial disparity. Black people, also known as Negroes in those days, adhered to these laws, which may have been more entrenched in custom that transcended into legal statutes based strictly on social grounds. Negroes had always obeyed without question. As a rule, the apartheid societal order had continued unchallenged.
When you're on the street, when evening falls so high, I will comfort you. I'll take you by. Oh, when darkness comes.
In spite of all these practices of inequality, one primary objective had always stood out in my mind: the ubiquitous white only and color only water fountain designation. These signs had stirred a special element of passion within me. The messages of the signs were clear and appeared at restaurants and other establishments. These signs appeared on public buildings and entrances to other facilities. However, something inside my spirit would not allow my soul to reconcile the racial segregation of rain. Simply stated, this action I had determined was not right. As a child, I could clearly see the misuse of authority. I made up my mind early that I had to do something. It was a rites of passage thing for the men to venture to the warehouse for the weigh-in that would take place the night before the tobacco was actually sold. My father had allowed me to take in this ritual of a rural custom. Upon arrival, I knew that my father, elder brother, and the other men would be busy unloading the tobacco payload. I could seize the opportunity to enact my plan. I would embark upon my first act of civil disobedience, although I had never heard those words spoken by anyone. When the opportunity had presented itself and I was out of the direct vision line of my father, I honed in on my target, the white-only water spigot, the most common term that reference for water fountain. As soon as my feet had delivered my body to the water source, I slowly but deliberately raised my hand from my side to turn the knob that released an upward flow of water. I had positioned my feet squarely in front of the white-only water fountain. I immediately lowered my head so that my parted lips were poised to receive the upward burst of recycled rain.
Jesse James, Frank James, Billy Kid, and all the rest. Supposed to have been some bad cats out in the West. If they could have done me and my gangster ways, they would have hung up their guns and made it to the grave.
Water had met my lips. I had experienced for the first time in my life the forbidden. I had tasted water from an impermissible source. "Hey, you boy, get away from that spigot," some ranting white man shouted. He continued his raving. "Can't you read? That spigot is for white only." His voice had originated from a reddened face. I had refused to allow any of the facial details to form an image in my mind. I lifted my head very deliberately from the water spout as if having fulfilled an insatiable thirst. Rather than obedience to the loud booming rant, purposely my lips had parted, allowing some of the warm solution to drip from my mouth. I then turned slowly away from the white-only water fountain, ignoring the voice that was now spouting inaudible sounds to my ears. I raised my head proudly and met the stare of my father's eyes.
I'm stronger than a locomotive, yeah. That old saying is true. But I can't understand sometimes, baby, why I'm so weak for you. Listen, I can leap tall buildings in a single bound. When it come to getting over you, baby, well, I can't get off the ground. But they call me the Superman lover, yeah. Say they call me the Superman lover, yeah. But something wrong